After an amazing trip in Aswan, I finally visited the famous temple of Abu Simbel, which is one of my most favorite archaeological sites in Egypt till now, for its beautiful archaeological structure. So let's explore the area and learn its history. So we started our journey at 3:30 am and we reached Abu Simbel around 8 am. It was definitely a long journey, and of course I fell asleep, but my mother was disturbing me a lot. She was trying to wake me up again and again, so I was a little frustrated, but at last she let me get a good sleep before I visit that amazing Abu Simbel temple. This was said to be built during the rule of Pharaoh Ramses II, who believed himself to be the god. This was mainly a temple type of structure. After a little bit, when we go inside, I'll show you the carvings which indicate the pharaoh's life. But this temple wasn't only built for the worship of Pharaoh Ramses, but also other great gods of Egypt of that time like Anum-Ra. The entrance to this temple, as you can see, is really magnificent. There is a beautiful garden over here, and the scenery from here is really amazing. So it can be said that Ramses II had a really good interest in a beautiful scenic view. Well, our driver only gave us a few hours to visit this place, but the problem was that there were a lot of people in the waiting line for the ticket, and we had to wait around 40 minutes in order to get our ticket. We were worried if we could finish our visit, but Alhamdulillah, we could visit the area and enjoy a lot. These types of buildings are really rare as it's a cave temple. Usually there are more of a structural type buildings for temples in Egypt, but in these areas the cave temples are really common. And just as we went there, we saw really high statues of the King Ramses II, about 20 meters high. And the reason why the statues here are larger than any other statues of the ancient civilizations are because these structures were built for the gods, not for the humans. While researching on the Abu Simbel temple, I found out something really interesting. The structure, as you can see here, wasn't always located over here. Instead, it was located a little forward below in the sand, but due to overflowing of water from the beautiful Lake Nasser you can see here, after the Aswan High Dam was built, they had to shift it from there for preservation. So in 1959, an international campaign started in order to save these beautiful architectural structures from the area of the rising water, and everything, including the stone carvings below the ground, were also excavated, and they created a completely artificial mountain and placed everything in there, as you can see in this picture, where the temples were located before and where it is located now. Although this room is really deep inside the temple, still, as you can see, the sunlight falls on the tree from the right side, and the one at the left doesn't get any sunlight because he is considered to be the god of the shadows. Also, inside some of the holes, after we entered, we saw some carvings on the walls that indicated the life of the Pharaoh Ramses II. It showed his full lifestyle, his foods, and his hobbies. So there were quite a few of these rooms there, and there was a lot of crowd in there, so there was a little suffocating. Beside the main temple there of Ramses II, there stands another temple of Queen Nefertari, who was Ramses II's wife. Unfortunately, there was a really long line at the temple of the Queen Nefertari, and after roaming around inside the crowded Abu Simbel temple of the Ramses II, we were really exhausted and we had no energy left to stand and wait in that long line. So we had to head back home. But I did enjoy a lot. And just like many other major tourist spots in Egypt, the Abu Simbel temple also had a market near it for the tourists to buy traditional Egyptian stuff. And after our trip in Abu Simbel, we went on our microbus and headed back to Aswan, and later from there we took a train back to Cairo. So my Egypt tour has been one of my greatest journeys so far. I don't think I've ever visited a country that much as I visited Egypt. So I have witnessed a lot of ancient archaeological sites in Egypt, and I had a lot of fun because that's the main reason why I came here. But after I finished visiting almost all of them, I thought it was time to see some of its modern history, and that's where we'll be heading towards next as we go to the famous Alexandria city of Egypt, where we'll visit the modern history of this country. Before that though, we have a river cruise in the Nile, a really fun one, and I'll share it in my next video. Until then, have a nice day and goodbye.